Introducing edit playlists. Of course, we know a lot about each track. So we'll just keep with our drums track here. We know that we have its input, its output. We know its volume level, right? We have inserts on the track, whatever those might be. We could have sends on the track. So there's, of course, the name and all this stuff. All that's a part of the track. The series of clips on the track is called the edit playlist. And let's just do something here. So these series of clips is what we've decided that we need to play back on this track. But let's say we wanted to either, there's a couple of workflows. If the band did the, a version here, and we want to, let's do that. If the band did a version and we want to say, oh, you know what, let's do another take. Of course, you could always do another take after that one. But if you want to stack all these up so that we can easily maybe pick the best parts of each take, then we might want to create another playlist for all of our clips. And to do that, we want to create a playlist. So the area to do that is right next to the track name is a little arrow here. It says, gives you an option to create a new playlist, or you can duplicate the main playlist. So let's, I want to hold down the option key and actually do this to all the tracks in this situation where I'm going to say, hey, let's do another take. So now when we do that, it empties out that playlist, because now we are in a new playlist. And you can see the blue icons shows us on these tracks we have alternate playlists. And you also notice that when I did that, it asked me what name would I like to put on the new playlist. And it by default, it just does this dot, and I'll give a number. And I like that. In fact, this is how I usually start all my sessions. I do this initially, and I go, you know what, this is the first take. And then when we come, and this is the second take. So we can set up situations where we have multiple playlists per track. Now, you can't have multiple automation playlists. If we change the automation here, I don't want that, I want this. We only have one, for instance, one volume automation playlist, only one mute playlist. But we can have multiple, in fact, we can see all of our playlists now. We can have multiple edit playlists on our track. And we can select that by just going to that arrow again and selecting which one is the playlist that we want to see. And you can, and I've done this a couple of times before in this session, so you can see that in the parentheses, this was the original playlist, and this one was the next one I created. I deleted some in between, and here is the following one. So it'll tell me the order in which the playlists were created. That's the number in the parentheses. So what do we know here? You can tell the order by the number in the parentheses. You can change the playlist during playback. So if we're playing back here and we want to look at the first one, or the second one, which we had nothing there, or the third one, you can change that during playback. Put all these on the same one again. You can, the other thing to notice is that the track name becomes now the playlist name, right? When I change the playlist, then that changes the track name. So you can see the edit playlist by looking at the track name. You can, since the edit playlist is only a sequence of clips on the track, changing the playlist will not affect the other parts of the track. So it doesn't affect the inputs or outputs. It just affects that series of clips on the track. All right, so if we had, let's put some more. Let's see, drums. On this playlist, we're going to have that one and that one, maybe. So you can see that the edit playlist changes, but nothing else will change. And you should note that what you see is the active playlist, and that's the one that's audible. That's the one that's taking up CPU processing power. All the alternate playlists are inaudible and inactive. So only the active playlists will be audible during your session. And I mentioned before we can duplicate. So I could say, maybe this take was really close, but we want to, or what happens a lot is when I want to punch in, if I'm in punch mode here, quick punch, and they say, well, let's pick it up at, the place that we want to start recording maybe right here, and I want them to hear a little bit before that, I might, and this was the take that we just did, I might say, okay, can we just punch in at the chorus? So I want to say, I want to duplicate that. So now when we go and punch in, which I'm not going to be able to do because I don't have any active record tracks, I'm playing back the previous one, and then I can punch in, and that will become the new, the new clips on that take. So you can duplicate your playlists as well. You can even use alternate playlists to manage system resources. So let's say you had a clip that had just a ton of edits on it. Let's separate this clip at transients, for instance. So we're generating just hundreds of clips. Let's zoom in here, which is going to take up system resources. So let's say that we don't want to, we're running out of system resources and we want to consolidate this. So I'm going to select all of these. And I'm going to say edit here, consolidate clip. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, let's duplicate this. So we're on a new playlist, and then we'll consolidate that one, which is Option Command 3, consolidate clip. So now this one is a single clip, which will take up far less system resources. So you might find those situations where duplicating it and then consolidating also helps. So that's a tip that's in the book. Okay, time bases. So we talked about time bases earlier. The alternate playlist can have either the same time base or different ones. Right now, it's, I think by default, selection changes alternate playlist. So if I make this all tick, then each one of these playlists are also in tick mode. If we turn off that option and change this one to ticks, then go to another playlist, that one is still in samples. So you can either have your time bases the same or they can change individually. We can delete alternate playlists. So again, in that same playlist menu, you can say delete alternate playlists. So I can say delete unused, and it'll give me all the playlists that are unused. And we have quite a few because we created a bunch and then we didn't put any clips on them. But if I just look at my drums, I can see that I have a few that are unused. And so I could say, well, let's just delete some of these. I'm going to delete 2, 3, and 4. So now those playlists are not there anymore. Let's see, they give a tip. As you learned in the Pro Tools 101, deleting a track will also clear the entire undo history of your session. Deleting unused playlists operates quite differently. Not only will this not clear out the undo history, but the deletion of unused playlists is itself undoable. So I can undo my deleting of playlists. So now they should be back.